everyone. In today's session, we will see briefly about arrow function, how to define it, how to use it by comparing traditional function. I'll explain you all the possible ways of arrow function. Okay, so the major purpose of arrow function is to write a function in a simplistic way or with the shortest lines of code will take help of arrow function. So to make you understand this one, initially I'll define a function to add two numbers. Okay. So traditionally to define a function, what we'll do? We'll take help of function keyword. After taking help of function keyword, we have to specify function name. Inside this function name, whatever the parameters you want to pass, we'll specify those attributes. So after specifying those attributes, we'll define the flower brackets. Inside the flower brackets, we'll implement a logic. So here I want to return a plus b. So this operation I want to perform and I want to return this as an output. So now what I'll do is we want to call this function. So to call this function, we can take help of console log. In this console log, I'm going to specify a and b values. So let's suppose if you specify 2, 5. So what happens? Sorry, here we have to pass it inside the function. So for that, we have to specify this function first. Console.log of add of 2, 5. So whenever you specify function name and if you pass the parameters to this function, it will call this function, and in this function it will consider a value like 2 and it will consider b value as 5. Then it will perform this operation and this will return as an output. So it means it will return sum of two numbers, 2, 5, it will return in an output. I'm saving this one. It is giving output like 7. Similarly, if you want to perform or if you want to write same code with the arrow function, what we need to do is, let's suppose if you want to return a constant value as an output, let us assume. Now, what is our function name? Our function name we have to specify here. We have to specify our function name here. Similarly, with equals to symbol, in the parentheses, we have to pass the parameters. What are our parameters here? A comma B are our parameters. After passing our parameters, we have to take help of arrow symbol equals to and this less than symbol. This symbol is said as arrow function. So whenever you want to create arrow function, we have to use this symbol. Now, as it is a single line function, whatever the operation you want to perform, you can specify that operation here directly. Control V. Okay. So this much easily we can define an arrow function. Now, what I'll do is I want to do a console for this. Console.log. Same thing. Our function name is add. So I'm specifying that function name. So in this function name, we have to pass the parameters. Let's suppose at this time I'll say 2, 3. So you might think it might call same function again. So there might be a possible scenario, right? So for that purpose, what I'll do is I'll keep this portion in comment. Okay, I'm saving this one now. You can see it is giving output like 5. So this much easily with the less lines of code, we can define an arrow function. As you can see here, while writing it with a traditional function, we have to take help of function keyword, then function name, then parameters we have to pass, then we need to take help of return statement. Whereas coming to here in arrow function, remember, if it is a single line return statement, at the time, implicit return will work. We no need to specify return explicitly. By default, it will return this expression as an output. It is a basic example with parameters. With parameters means inside the function, we specify the parameters as AB. It means that's why I'm saying this example as with the parameters. We'll see different possible scenarios so that you'll understand this thing much clearly. Now, I want to explain you this thing with without parameters, sorry. Now we'll see without parameters. So without parameters means, let's suppose I am going to define one more function wish me. Okay, in this I'm not passing any parameters, and this function will have console statement. Okay, or else like we can say return function, return type. With this return type, I want to return hello, welcome, wish me, right? Yeah, welcome to session. So I'm wishing like this. Okay, after this, what I'll do is I want to console this statement. In this console statement, what I'll do is I want to call a wish me function. Simple. So coming to without return type, directly we can call a function so that it will return that return statement as an output. As it is not having any parameters, you can see hello, welcome to session. This is coming in an output. So if you want to do same thing with the arrow function, what we can do is simple. What we have to do, let's suppose we want to store it in a variable, you can define a variable. The next function name you can specify here. So our function name is wishme2. Let's suppose, yeah, I'm giving name like wishme2. Then next we have to take help of equals to symbol. If there is no parameters, you can specify empty parentheses. Again, we have to take help of arrow function symbol. So here you no need to specify return statement. Okay, as it is, I told you if it is a single line return, so if there is not much logic present at the time, it can take implicit return. Okay, hello, welcome to arrow function. I'm writing it like this. Okay, so now we haven't called this function, right? That's why it is not giving anything in an output. Now what I'll do is I'll try to call this function. So to call this function, what we'll do, we'll take help of console statement again. So dot log, here I'll specify wish me2. And it is a function. We have to take help of same thing. So remember, calling of the function is same in both the cases. Either it is a traditional function or arrow function, but syntax is different. Whereas coming to the traditional function, it will start with function keyword. Whereas coming to the arrow function, no need of the function keyword and everything. Simple. You can, like, if you want to store it in some variable, you can define that variable type. And then next, you can specify your function name equals to the parameters, whatever you want to pass. Here you can specify the parameters with arrow symbol. If it is a single line one, you can specify that, like whatever you want to return in output, you can specify that statement here. And directly you can call the function. This much easily we'll define this. And we'll see now, like with parameters we saw, without parameters we saw. With single parameter we'll see now how we can define. Okay, as most widely will use this arrow function, that's why I'm explaining most of the possible ways on this. Okay, so initially we'll define it traditionally function. So coming to the single parameter, yeah, I want to perform square of the number. Okay, I'll say mul means multiply a comma b. Okay, so in this I have to return out. Sorry, so I told you like a single value, right? So I'll say return a. In this return a into a means a square it will give, right? Okay, so I want to return this one as an output. Okay, it is a single parameter having function. Now I want to console this. So log, what I'll do is here I'll say multiplication of 3. I'll say you can see it is giving output like 9. It is giving output like 9. Now same thing I want to define with arrow function. So to define it with arrow function, what we have to do? We have to specify a data type. Then we have to specify function name, specifying function name like multiply and equals to. So if we have single parameter, even you no need to use parenthesis. If you don't use parenthesis also, it won't return any error. So let's suppose we'll be having single parameter. I'll specify the single parameter name here. I'll say a directly. Now, here, whatever the operation you want to perform, you can specify that operation. As it is a single line one, implicit return will takes place. Okay, like this, we can define the same thing, whatever we define on a top. Okay, now directly we can console it. You can see how much easy it is, how much easily we can define it is. Okay, multiply of 4, I will say. You can see it is giving 60. So you can compare both the things so that you'll understand, okay, how much easy it is. And I'm once again saying, okay, explicit return is not needed if it is a single line return statement, remember. Okay, the next we'll see most widely this arrow function will be used as a callback function. Okay, we'll see how we can define it as a callback function. So initially we'll see same thing with the traditional function. So I'm defining function with the name set timeout. Okay, so set timeout. Okay, in this I'm returning a function, like I'm defining a function, like with a traditional function first. So coming to this traditional function, it won't have any parameters at this time. Okay, in this I'm going to console.log. Hello, you mean output after 2 seconds. Okay, set timeout. With this, I'm adding some delay in a code. Okay, after 2 seconds of delay only, I have to return an output. That is the use case of this set timeout. Now, what I'll do is, what happened? Maximize this so that it will look somewhat good. Okay, so with this, like what I'll do is, I'll specify a comma here and I'll pass a value. So far we haven't discussed this kind of special functions like set timeout and everything. We'll discuss it if time permits later we'll discuss. But as of now, try to understand understand the parameters, how we can define inside this function. So coming to the set timeout function, inside this method or function, we are passing one function. Okay, we are taking one function and this function is returning this statement as an output. And coming to the set timeout function, we'll be having two parameters. First one is a statement or operation which you want to perform, and second parameter is the delay, how much delay you want to provide. So here I'm saying 2000 stands for 2000 milliseconds. It means 2 seconds. Okay, I'm saving this one. If you save this one, if you go to this one, here it will take some time to execute. I'll minimize this one now. Okay. So once again, let's suppose if I change 20,000, it will take 2 minutes to give an output. Okay, 2 minutes means it will be somewhat huge time only, right? That's why we can't see that much immediately. I'll say 2 seconds. You can see it is waiting for some time. After some time, it is giving an output. That is the purpose of set timeout function. So in this type of scenarios, we'll use this arrow function most of the times. So now I'll define arrow function for the same thing. Okay. So whenever you want to use arrow function for set timeout, simple. So we have to take help of set timeout keyword. Okay. You can see it is coming out by default. Okay. Set timeout. Coming to the set timeout, I am taking help of arrow function now. So if you take help of arrow function, we need not to define any parameters, or we need not to use function keyword, as it is not having any parameters. Directly I'm specifying empty bracket. With the empty bracket, I'm specifying console statement. Okay, I'm saying this one. After this, with comma separation, we have to specify a delay. Okay, and I'm closing this one. Now I'm saving this one. You can see it will take some time. Both are coming at a time. Okay, this is about arrow function. So what happens if we use arrow function inside the method, or how we use arrow function to define methods inside the object? We'll see that scenario as well. Methods inside the object. Okay, so to define methods inside the object, initially we'll see the traditional approach. Let's suppose I'm defining constant object, okay, equals to, like, however we'll define an object, like that I'm defining an object. Inside the object, we have to specify the parameters, right? So now I'll say name equals to Yakub. I'm giving my name only. The next, what I'll do is here, instead, like for a next parameter, instead of value, I'll take help of function here. So now what I'll do is I'll say function without any parameters. Okay. So here I'll specify some console statement. Console.log. Hello. Welcome to function inside object. Let's suppose I'm defining like this. Okay, so we defined a function. In this function, for the attribute, means for the key, we are passing value as a function. Now I want to call this function. Okay, so now I want to call this function, or else, like, inside this function, I have to access this attribute as well. To access this attributes, what we need to do, we have to take help of backtick operation, right? Dynamically, if you want to fetch something, we have to take help of backtick operator. Now I'll take help of backtick operator. Okay, I defined this thing in backtick operator. Hello, welcome. I'll specify name of the person. To access the value dynamically, we have to take help of this syntax. Here we have to specify the attribute name. I'm saving this one now. Okay, so this is about methods inside the object. Like, we define method inside the object. Now what I want to do is I want to call greet key from the object. So for that purpose, what I'll do is I'll say obj dot greet. I'm calling as a method. I'm saving this one. So now if you go to console, I'm taking 2 seconds. I'm with arrow function. It's not coming in an output. What's happening? Did we did any mistakes in this? Right. So we'll see by keeping console statement for this. Again, minimize it. No need of console even. Console.log. Defined the arrow function. Hello, welcome. This is not calling, right? Okay. This function is not calling anywhere. So now what I'll do is I'll try to call name first, so that we'll see whether name, at least name is coming. So it's not at all calling. That's why it is not returning. Instead, which we defined correctly only. As it is not returning output directly there, right? Like for that, what I'll do is we will call this function from the console itself after saving this code. Now what I'll do is I'm going to VS Code, so not VS Code, in the live server. What I'll do is I'll call our function object dot greet function we are using, right? I'll call this function. Okay. So once you click on enter, it is returning output. Hello, welcome, Jakub. Like that, it is giving an output. So same thing, whatever we did with the traditional function, defining a function inside the object, I'll try to do it with the arrow function. Okay. So coming to the arrow function, how we can do it? Same thing. Constant object we have to define first. Okay. So now I'll define constant obj2, let us assume. So coming to this object, I'll specify different parameters. Okay, so that it will be much clear to you. Age, it is 7, comma. The next, I'll define a parameter here, like a greet. So coming to this greet, like we have to pass a parameter. As you know, if it is a single parameter, we can specify empty bracket or not. If there is no parameters, we need not to specify any parameter, just parenthesis needed. After this, I'm taking help of arrow function. So after this arrow function, if you want to return something, you can take help of return statement. So here we want to write a console statement, console log, the backtick we have to use. So in this backtick, what I'll say is, hey, and it is like this. I want to display dynamic value. You can see age and say. Yeah. So this dot age, I'll say. So this dot a means in this context, I need a value of age. That's what we are doing here. Okay. So now after saving this, I'm saving this. Now what I'll do is I'll go to browser. So now what I'll do is here I'll call obj2. Obj2 I'm calling. Obj2 means it is returning this complete thing in an output. Now in this, I'm going to call greet function. Okay, I'm going to call greet function as it is not having any parameters, and I'm running this one. Hey, hi, my age is undefined. You can see. Okay, so from this, you have to understand is so whenever you want to define a function inside the objects, at the time, better to go with traditional function, not with a arrow function. Okay. So whereas if you want to return an object with a input parameters, at the time you can take help of this arrow function. Now we'll see in another example, returning objects as an output. Returning objects as an output. So now what I'll do is I'll define a traditional function first. Function. Okay. In this, I'll specify two parameters with the name and age. Okay. So what is our function name? We have to give a function name, right? So create user. So I want to create a object with a create user with these two parameters. Now, what I want to return is I want to return an output by creating an object. For that purpose, I'm saying return in this bracket, I'll say name colon. I want to return name as a value for this, comma age colon age as a parameter I want to return. This is my method. Let us assume this is my return statement. After this, I want to console this one. So console.log Same function we have to call. Create user, I'm selecting that one. In this, we have to specify the parameters. So I'll specify parameters like let me 2. I'm specifying all these parameters. Now I'm saving this one. Once you save that, you can see the output. As it is, okay, give me a minute. What we'll do is minimize the tab so that we'll see side by side. Okay, so now we'll call it here itself. Once again, no worries. Create user, you can see this coming. I'm selecting this one. Dot, we have to take help of, not dot, sorry, this is a function, right? In this function, we have to pass parameters. I'll pass parameter like name, comma, age. Okay, I'm passing these two parameters and I'm running this one. You can see how much easily we are creating an object here. Okay, create user, it is giving output like in the form of object. Just we pass it two values. By that two values, we are creating a object or we are returning output in the form of object. Same thing we can do very easily with the arrow function. So the structure is very simple. So first we have to define a variable. Now I'm defining variable const. Okay. So for this const variable, we have to take help of function name, control C, function name. The next equals to symbol. In the parenthesis, we have to specify the parameters. So here I'm specifying the parameters. Control C. Here I'm specifying the parameters. After these parameters, we have to take help of arrow function. In this arrow function, whatever the logic you want to write, you can write this logic. Okay, this way, like we can easily define a same thing with the arrow function. Now I'm going to console it. For the console, I'll keep same console here. So to make your work easy, I'll change this variable name so that it will be much convenient to you to see the difference between both the things. Okay. On caught error. Okay, what was the error? Go to problem. Unexpected semicolon at somewhere. Okay, we'll see. Let's see that. Okay, constant create user 2 is fine. The next parameters are good. Name, colon. Which line it is saying? Line 59. In the 59, we have a mistake. Where it is? Here bracket is missing. So we have to specify the parameters like that, right? So create user, actually this complete thing in the function. That's why it is giving an error. That's it. Yeah, it is an arrow function, right? No need of specifying mapping. Okay, by default it will be take up as an array. So I'm removing these things. Okay, and I'll remove this extra brackets even. Make this extra brackets even. Oh, here we have to. Okay, here we have to specify. Okay. It means this complete thing should be come up in the form of map. Okay, this will be mapped. No errors now. We can see. Okay, if you see this one, if it is not returning any output, also fine. We'll console it from here. Okay. Create user 2. I'm calling, and here I'll pass the inputs. Name means I'll pass Vihan. Okay. And age I'll pass like 1 year. Suppose this, it is giving output like undefined, but it should give an output. Okay, I'll see this. Okay. So now, like previously, I kept this parenthesis here, right, in front of parameters. But as it is an arrow function, like we have to specify that thing here. That's why it is giving an undefined previously. Now, if you see same thing, if you call this function in the console, control C dot. Yeah. So we have to pass the parameters, right? In this, sorry, it's not an, yeah, we have to pass the parameters. Name equals to I'm giving. Okay, it's giving this object as an output, you can see now. Okay, this much easily we can define arrow function. This is about arrow function. So here you have to remember difference between normal function, that is a traditional function, and arrow function is we can define an arrow function with the less lines of code. It means it is a very simplistic way to define an arrow function. And this data binding also, by default, dynamic data binding will be takes place with the arrow function. And whenever you want to call an function as a value for any key in an object, at the time, better to go with traditional function instead of arrow function. And in remaining all the cases, you can use arrow function. This is about arrow function. Okay, as it is much widely used function. So please try to understand, try to explain more on the arrow function. Thank you.